This is Carl with your livestock update for Friday, December 13th. Uh, Finishing week in livestock here with the mixed tone. Going into the close here, we got fat cattle trading considerably higher, feeders under pressure, hogs also a little higher. Been a pretty volatile week, and it's been cash and bled futures all week long. And that's pretty much both especially it's been predominant in the cattle, the feeders mainly. This replacement market, we started out the week $10 to $15 higher at auctions, and then we gave most of that back. And in some of the later auctions here in Oklahoma City, we saw $10 to $15 lower. So definitely a shift there. And the thing is, we're just struggling to find the replacements if you can even get them out there. And you're seeing an instance where you see a hot bid and you see somebody come in and take some and then they back away, kind of similar to the grain a little bit when you see buyers. But that feeder market getting pretty hot. The other thing we're seeing is a live cattle market that remains pretty much untested for the third week. A few light sales coming in a buck higher, but the packers it looks like are going to have to do the lifting with their cash bids, and that's why we've seen boxed beef firm up pretty much all week. Same on hogs. We've seen the cutouts firm here on the hogs, giving us some support. Doubts in the market over how much red meat demand we're going to see from China, and this is kind of a bit of a dark cloud over the market. China is predicting burdensome pork supplies once they get through their Lunar New Year. Not projecting big demand. They're still suffering from that culling they've had there, and really China just their economy isn't rebounding much either, so they're not seeing big consumer demand on a whole. The thing is on livestock, and I come back to this, and this is the driving point. Funds are record long hogs, and they're building a sizable long position in the live cattle, and they're long several feeder cattle contracts. Their buying in those contracts has distorted the fundamentals, the same as it does in the grain. We spent most of the summer in the grain market struggling. Even though fundamentals supported higher values, the funds did not want to buy and they maintained their short position, and that kept pressure on the market and made it quite irrational. We're starting to see the same thing in the livestock. Cattle and hogs, the funds are buying, and as long as they buy, we will track higher. But eventually the music stops and everybody bails, and that is a concern of mine. We are getting, $193 cattle sitting out here and feeders putting in new highs. I mean, we're getting a little bit top heavy, especially when we look at corn values projected to firm up here a little bit. We start seeing, tighter margins. It's going to weigh on that market, and we will see some pressure. But also, you got to go back to the underlying factor. We are currently sitting on the smallest U.S. cattle herd since 1951, and that has some fear in the market. Consumer demand remained very strong this week. The jobs report came out a little hotter than expected on the losses and the unemployment there. And we did see this week the CPI reading crept up for the third month in a row. Now, it wasn't a huge gain. Inflation still, roughly 3.3% ahead of last year. Not, out of control, but higher than what the Fed wants it to be. Consumer demand going into the holiday season very strong. The prime rib, a lot of demand for those prime ribs going into the holiday over turkeys and such, giving us support that supported us into Thanksgiving, and I think we'll see more strength going into Christmas and New Year's as well. After that will be key. It could be the one final hurrah by some people, one big holiday meal. If this doesn't track into 2025, look for a big correction in that livestock complex. That is my Friday outlook for this week.